So what if I told you that who you think you are, your personality, your habits, your limits, what if all of that is just a tiny fraction of your true self? That deep inside you, there's a living archive, a 600 million year inheritance of power and wisdom that you've almost completely forgotten about. Well, today, we're going to dive into that. We're about to explore a framework for remembering and reclaiming those forgotten powers, a way to finally access the full inheritance that's already living inside you.
And that quote right there, it just nails it. We're operating on a sliver of our full capacity. We mistake this tiny little fragment of our potential for the whole thing. It's kind of like owning a massive mansion, but choosing to live in just one little room, completely unaware of the library, the grand ballroom, the sprawling gardens. So what are these other rooms? Who are these ancestors?
And this gets us right to the central mystery we're tackling today. You are the heir to these ancient, powerful capacities, but somehow you've lost the keys. So if we're told we have this vast inner inheritance, the first, most obvious question is, what is it exactly?
Now, let's be really clear about something. When we talk about these ancestors, this isn't just some beautiful metaphor. These are real, factual capacities. They're hard-won survival strategies that life developed over eons and passed all the way down to you. Every single one was an answer to an impossible problem, and now each one is literally encoded in your very being, just waiting for you to call on it.
All right, so let's meet them. This framework organizes that whole 600 million year inheritance into 10 core powers, or ancestors, that popped up over evolutionary time. We're going to look at them chronologically, because each one is like a fundamental tool for being alive, a gift left for you from a different stage of life's incredible journey. And wow, this timeline really shows you the deep history we're talking about. It all starts way back, 600 million years ago, with the powers of the body. Then, as life literally crawled onto land, the powers of the self started to form. Much, much later came the social powers of the other, and then finally, with us, with humanity, the power of the question itself. You can see how each layer builds on the one before it. It's incredible.
Okay, so this first group, the body, this is our most ancient inheritance. It's just pure embodiment. You've got sense from the jellyfish, which is that raw capacity to just feel the world touching you. Then there's desire from the worm, which is the first most basic direction, moving towards something or away from it. And intuition from the fish, that's the body's amazing ability to know things way faster than your thinking mind ever could.
Next up, the self. These are the powers that helps life get a real foothold on land. Think about intention, coming from the salamander that first crawled out of the water. That's the sheer will to cross a terrifying new threshold. Then you have patience from the lizard, that strategic stillness. And of course, care from the very first mammals, that warmth we give to others and that we need to receive ourselves.
And then things get really social. We get the other, our social superpowers. There's curiosity from the lemur, which is the incredible ability to just pay attention to the world without an agenda, to simply look. Then you've got learning from the marmoset, that crucial willingness to let yourself be shaped by others, to take in their wisdom. And finally, teaching from the chimp, which is that fundamental drive to pass on what we know, to weave us all together.
Okay, so if we have all these amazing powers hardwired right into us, why do we so often feel stuck, or disconnected, or just out of balance? This question gets us to the heart of the problem, what the source material calls the condition. It's the soul out of harmony.
I mean, does this sound familiar to you? That feeling of numbness where the world just kind of goes gray. Or being totally paralyzed when you have to make a choice. Or what about that constant low-level hum of anxiety? Well, these aren't just random moods. They're actually symptoms that point directly to which of your ancestors are out of tune.
So one reason for this disharmony is that some of your ancestors are simply asleep. The capacity is still in there, but you've forgotten the path back to it. For example, if you've lived in your head for way too long, the jellyfish, your power of pure sensation, it just goes dormant. The world doesn't actually become less vibrant, you just stop feeling it.
Other powers, though, they're not sleeping, they're wounded. Trying to call on them actually brings pain because of something that happened in the past. Like, if your desire, your inner worm, was shamed or punished when you were a kid, you learned pretty quick that wanting things is dangerous. So now, when you try to access that part of you, you feel fear or shame instead of a clear sense of direction. And finally, some powers can be overactive. One voice just gets so loud it drowns out all the other 9. And this is often what we mistake for our personality. Take the lizard.
A healthy lizard gives you strategic patience, but an overactive lizard, that creates paralysis, an inability to act because you're always waiting for that perfect moment, a moment that never actually comes.
So, here's the really crucial point. This isn't a life sentence. Reconnection is totally possible. But, and this is a big but, it's not something you can just think your way into. It requires action. It requires a path of practice.
And this quote, Matt, it gets right to the heart of the solution. This isn't about intellectual curiosity. The ancestors don't care if you can define them on a test. They care if you can actually embody them in your day-to-day life. The real work is experiential. It's a huge shift from just knowing something to actually doing it.
And the path forward is actually pretty clear. It all begins with diagnosis, just honestly asking yourself which ancestors are sleeping, wounded, or overactive. Then comes healing, using specific embodied practices. From there, you can actually reach for a breakthrough, strengthening a power beyond what you thought was possible. And finally, integration, which is a lifelong art of learning how to conduct them all in beautiful harmony.
So this whole path of practice, it's all building towards one ultimate goal. It's not just about feeling a little better. It's about achieving this profound state of freedom, of choice, and real fluidity in how you move through your life.
But first, let's get one thing straight. Mastery, in this sense, does not mean you become flawless. It's not about transcending your own nature or never making a mistake again. That's not the goal at all.
No, mastery is the end of living on default. It's the freedom from getting hijacked by the same one or two reactive patterns over and over again. It's the ability to pause, even just for a breath, and choose your response rather than being driven by some unconscious old habit. And this is the heart of it all. You become the conductor of your own inner orchestra. Instead of reacting to every situation with the same blunt instrument, you learn to ask, okay, what does this moment actually need? Does it need the patience of the lizard? The deep care of the possum? The fierce intention of the salamander? You learn to call forth the right ancestor for the right moment. That is true power.
And that right there leaves us with the ultimate question. The ancestors have given you everything. This is your inheritance. The work is to awaken them, to harmonize them, to master them. But to what end? You know, this isn't just an intellectual exercise. It's a call to action. With this vast, incredible potential inside you, what will you build? What will you create? What will you give back to the world?